Welcome back to the channel. If you saw last week's video, you would have seen that I went thrifting. I went to Utrecht, pretty successful, found some really good pieces, but I did mention there is a couple pieces I needed to fix, like fix a button, another piece I wanted to take in and like alter to fit me better. So it got me thinking. I'm going to share 5 sewing techniques that every thrifter should know so that when you are thrifting, nothing can scare you. You can buy the things that are a little bit broken or a little bit damaged or a little bit not fitting right because you know that you can fix it. So the first technique is buttons. Knowing how to sew buttons back on is a very helpful skill, especially with thrifting. I find like it's so common for buttons to be falling off. This is the jacket I thrifted last week. As you can see, the button is falling off. Or they're just completely missing off of items. That's also common. Or sometimes the buttons are just kind of ugly, so you want to switch them out. A really easy way to personalize an item, switch the buttons. So we're going to go through of how to properly sew a button on. First, you're going to need matching thread or thread that's like close enough in color. You don't see much of it, so just try and get as close as possible. You're going to need sewing needles. I always put them in my little avocado, but sewing needles where you can put thread through. And lastly, some little snips or little scissors, anything will do. Of course, we need to remove the button, so I always just clip it off and try and remove as much as the threads as possible. It usually leaves a little bit of a hole, so you will see where it used to be. I always start with the right side up and I go down. That way the knot is going to be covered by the button and underneath will stay pretty clean. Then come back up right beside. And now we put our button back on. Now it has 4 holes, so you can do like an X or just 2 parallel lines. It depends what you want. I'm going to do an X. So I just go up through one, of course, down through the other, go back to where you came. And then I do the same stitch 4 times. That makes it really secure. So there's one X, and now we'll do it the other way. So after you have 4, you're not done yet. You want to come up, but you're not going to go through the button. You're going to come between the fabric and the button, and you push it through. So as you can see, it's between the button and the surface. And you're going to wrap the thread around a few times. And this just creates a little shaft for when you are actually closing something. It makes a space between the button and the fabric, so there's space for another layer of fabric to go. So once you do it a couple rounds, you go back down, and now you can tie off. I tend to go through the other stitches right before you pull it through and knot. One last snip, and you have your button. And there you go. And there's enough space for that to actually sit comfortably between the layers. Tip number 2 is knowing how to take things in on the side to make it fit you a little bit better. I thrifted this little tank top last week again. Super cute, loved the print and everything, but it was just a little too large. Not by much, but enough that I wanted to take it in a bit. So we're going to adjust this one together. First step is turning your item inside out. We want to see all the seam allowances and see what we are working with. Then you want to put it on if it's possible. If it's not possible to flip it inside out and put it on, you can just wear it as normal, and then you can continue the steps that I'm going to show you and get your little bucket of pins. I actually don't even have many. Something I should get more of. I have my mirror here, but here I know is like where it's way too big and a little bit in the body. So what I usually start doing is I just pin it. You want to grab the seam allowance and make sure you're actually pinning it flat on both sides. You don't want to grab too much to the front, not off the back, because when you're sewing it, it sews flat. So you need to make sure you pin it flat also. You also want to pin the same amount on both sides so everything stays even. Perfect. Now we have to very carefully take it off so we don't stab ourselves. So once you're happy with how it's fitting and where the pins are, make a mental note of how much you took in. For me, it's 3/8 on both sides. Sometimes it can vary. Sometimes if you want it more fitted at the top and less at the bottom, like make note, top is like 1/2 inch, bottom is 1/4 inch. Just make sure you remember. Now before you start sewing, something to take note of is, what does your hem look like? For me, the hem is just a little raw edge. There's no double fold. There's no fold up. It just, the seam allowance ends at the very bottom. But most items have a double rolled hem. And there's the double rolled hem all the way here. Now something you don't want to do, because it does not give you a clean finish, you don't want to just fold the hem together like so and just sew it down. You're going to end up with this. That's not very clean. Like, it doesn't look good. So take the extra time and unpick the hem. You don't need to unpick the whole thing, and roll it out so you know exactly where the seam allowance ends. That way, when you are making it smaller, you're gonna sew all the way down to the raw bottom. Then you can redo the double hem top stitch and it will look as clean and as perfect as it did before. Doing it this way, honestly, is just cleaner, it looks more professional, and it looks like you know what you're doing. But let's go to our tank top and sew down the side 3/8 smaller. It's 3/8 from this stitch line. Now once you've sewn it down, you've taken it in, flip it right side out and do another fitting. Don't complete it yet. You want to do a fitting, make sure you're happy with how it fits, because now is the time to make further adjustments if you need it. For me, I'm happy with it. I like how it fits. It's definitely more how I like it. So the next step I'm going to do is just trim down the bulk of the seam allowance. I don't like how big it is inside. Serge the edge to give it a clean finish. If you don't have a serger, you can also do a zigzag stitch. It just cleans it off and it doesn't keep fraying. And then of course, if you have a rolled hem, roll it back up, do your top stitch, and it's done. So it should fit you exactly how you want it to. Technique number 3, which is probably the most common, which is hemming. Shortening items, skirts, pants, shorts, dresses, tops, anything really. Honestly, it's probably one of the things that I get asked the most is to hem people's pants. So I think if you can do it yourself, it's even better. I'm going to show you on this dress. This is a dress I made a while ago. It failed. There's a whole video about it. I don't like it. But I'm going to show you how to hem on this. Of course, the first step is trying on the garment, pinning it up, seeing how long you want it. And for pants, this is something people always forget to do. Wear the shoes you want to wear with the pants when you are deciding how long you want it. If you're not wearing any shoes and you're bare feet, they're going to end up being too short. So if you want to wear it with heels, wear the heels. If you want to wear it with sneakers, wear the sneakers and then decide on the length. It really helps. So you tried it on, you did a rough pin, and now you're going to actually measure everywhere you pinned. And you want to average out the amount. So for me, it's 2 inches. And then I just write it down on a piece of scrap paper just so I don't forget that I want it 2 inches shorter. If you only want it a little bit shorter, you obviously have to unpick the whole hem because you need that space to roll it and make another hem again. So depending on how much shorter you want it, if it's a little bit, undo the hem. If it's a lot and it gives you space for a hem, then it's okay. You're going to cut it off anyways. You can take out the pins. And I always put the side seams together. I stack them on top of each other. Not the front and back, but the side seam to the side seam. And you want to match up the hem, the bottom, perfectly on top of each other. Pin it. Because you're going to cut the whole thing. And you need it exactly the same on both sides. And now you're going to get tailor's chalk and we're going to measure up to make note of where we want to actually cut. Now I want it 2 inches shorter, so I want it this much shorter, but that's where I want the finished line, so I need to account for the hem. The hem is a double rolled quarter, so I need to cut it 1/2 inch less. So at 1.5. So if I cut it here, I do the hem, it will end up exactly where I want it to. So before you cut, just do a little bit of math. Do how much you want to shorten it minus the seam allowance. And you measure all the way around. So mine's 1.5. Mark it with your tailor's chalk. And this is your cutting line. Once it's all marked, we can now cut along this line that you just did and make sure there's nothing stuck in between. Like if there's a lining, push up the lining. Make sure there's no other part of the garment underneath, because the last thing you want is to accidentally cut another part of the garment that's not supposed to be cut. And now it's ready to just do your regular hem. A little tip about deciding how wide of a hem. If it's a curve like this dress, I suggest a double quarter. You want something smaller. And if it's straight, then you can just do the classic double 3/8 roll. If you want to bring it one level extra and want to mimic the pants' original hem. So before you cut it off, make note of how much of hem they do. Sometimes it's a 1-inch hem, so you want to replicate that. Sometimes it's a blind stitch, so you want to learn how to blind stitch. So just do a little examining first. Look at how big the hem is and make sure you accommodate that while you are measuring it all out and before you cut it. Is it check twice, cut once? I think it's like check like 5 times, then cut once. And now you have your new hem. This is the old part, this is the new part. It looks the same, just a little bit shorter. Technique number 4. Removing sleeves. I recently did this on a top in my closet. I made a video about it, but I just removed the sleeves, gave it a nice clean finish, and it really elevated the piece. I feel it's a simple upcycle, like just remove the sleeves and it's kind of looks like a whole new top. But I see a lot of people just grabbing their scissors, cutting off their sleeves, and then they just turn it and top stitch it, which is fine, but it's not gonna look the cleanest. So I wanna show you a method that will give you a very clean, satisfying look at the end. First things first, get your stitch ripper. You're not gonna cut it off. If you just cut your sleeve off, you're losing that prime seam allowance real estate in there, and we want that. We wanna work with it. So get your stitch ripper. You're gonna take like 10 more minutes to unpick all the threads, but I swear it's worth it. Unless it's a huge difference, like if you're taking a sleeve from down on your shoulder to like way up here, of course you're gonna cut it off. But I'm talking more about getting the same shape just without a sleeve. You're going to stitch rip it off. Don't cut it off. I'll show you why. I made a little bodice to demonstrate it all. So on this side, we used a stitch ripper. We nicely took it off. We have a whole seam allowance to work with. It will give a clean finish at the original line. So this is very useful fabric. Now on the other side, I just cut it off and there's no seam allowance. So this was the original line, this one. So now if we then fold it, see how much more narrow this is? You just lost 3/8 of an inch. So unless you want it a lot thinner, you can cut it, but I strongly suggest to use the seam allowance that is already in the garment. So you stitch ripped your sleeves off. Now we're left with this raw edge. If you fold it in and top stitch, it's not going to be very neat. You have a raw edge, it's going to fray. It's a curve, a very tight curve, so you're going to get a lumpy finish. I always do a bias binding. What is a bias binding? It is a strip of fabric that is cut on the bias, which is the diagonal of the fabric, because it has stretch and it goes around curves very easily. It gives a very nice finish. You can either cut your own. There's lots of videos. I'll link one down below of how to cut your own bias, or you can buy however much you want. You can buy a whole spool or just a few meters depending, but it comes in all different colors. So this is how I do the bias binding. First, I just fold the short end down. Doesn't matter how much, like 1/4 of an inch. I fold it in half, and this is a 1 inch and 1/8 wide bias binding. Then I fold it in half. If you've made one of my flower bags, you will already know this process because this is how I finish all the edges of the flower bag. And you want to make sure that your bias binding, when you fold it in half, of course, fits around your armhole. So I have more than enough to go all the way around. When we start sewing on the bias, we're going to have the right side facing up, and we're going to start at the bottom of the armhole. It's just keeping the messy places at the bottom kind of out of sight. And you want to start with the folded edge. The other edge can remain raw. This can be a raw edge, but the starting edge should be folded in, giving it a nice clean edge, and you want to line it up like so. And you're going to sew just shy of a 1/4 inch all the way around, and you want to line up the raw edge of the bias binding to the raw edge of the armhole. And as you're sewing, don't stretch the bias too much. You'll see that it goes really thin if you stretch it. You want to add a little bit of tension, but not too much. And once you come to your starting point, you want to overlap about a 1/2 inch or so. And then of course just cut off the excess. It's looking like so, not the cutest, but now we're going to start covering this raw edge. You want to flip the bias towards that raw edge. And we're going to edge stitch this down at 1/16 away. And make sure you get through all the layers. You're going to edge stitch through everything. The edge stitch is complete. It's looking a little better. So now we're going to go to the wrong side and we're going to flip this all in. And this is what actually closes off that raw edge. See, once you flip it in, we're going to do an edge stitch along the other side and it locks it all in place. This is what it looks like. There is going to be a top stitch that goes all the way around, but if you blend it in with the garment, you'll barely see it. And then once you look inside, it gives it a very clean finish. There's no raw edge showing, nothing's going to fray. I did the other side by just folding it in and top stitching so you can see the difference. This will fray. It's already fraying. So if you do one wash, it frays, the stitch is coming out. It's not so nice. So with the bias binding, it locks it in. You can see the difference. This maintains the length of the previous garment, whereas this one we had to fold it in extra. So we fold it in half, you can see the difference of length. So it does matter. If you don't mind it being a little shorter, of course you can do that, but there is a difference when you just cut a sleeve off versus using the seam allowance that's already existing. So there you have it, a clean, finished armhole. And the last technique, which I think is easier said than done, it can be a little scary, which is don't be afraid to use your scissors. Cut things shorter. Like, you can do quite a lot with thrifted garments, especially if they're not very fitted. Like, you can fit them, you can make it from sleeves to sleeveless, you can make it from a maxi skirt to a mini skirt. Look at the items and the elements that you like and focus on that. For example, this shirt that I'm wearing now was a upcycle that I did, and it literally was this exact style. I just chopped it shorter, and from the fabric I cut off, I made the ties and made the channel at the bottom. It just took a little cut. If you're really unsure, just cut a little bit off, see how it goes. If it's still too long, just like keep cutting until you're happy with the length. Once you cut, it's final, but also don't let that scare you. Just get creative, have fun with it, add patches, add trim, add fringe, add lace. Basically just get creative. Look at ideas on Pinterest, experiment. Maybe you thrift an ugly shirt just so you can play around with it to be more comfortable with a shirt you do really like. Sometimes I do that. I'll thrift 2 of one thing, and one is purely just my like practice, and I'll do a whole bunch of things to one garment. Like, I'll take one sleeve off just to see how it looks to get a better idea. And that's a really good way to learn, like, hands-on and know what your skills are at and what your level is at. So try it out. Happy thrifting, happy upcycling. I hope these tips helped you. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That always really helps. I notice a lot of you guys watch my videos reoccurring week after week, but you're not subscribed. And it would help me so much if you did. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Comment down below which of the techniques you think you would try out. Maybe you learned something new. And I will see you next week. Bye.